wanted to bring you something super happy until we brought you the sad part of the segment.
Oh, no.
Is that if you remember, when we did the quarterback power rankings, you had both Jayden Daniels and Jalen Hurts in the top 10. In fact, I believe both of them were in the top 6. Jayden Daniels was 4th. Jalen Hurts was 6th. So I guess my question is, and I looked at this from a couple of different perspectives. I know Dak is hurt right now. That changes the equation. But it looks like you have 2 potential, if not already, top 10 NFL starting quarterbacks in your division. And it's not yours. And they're both younger and cheaper than your quarterback. First of all, do you think that's true, that they're both top 10? I know we went through the power rankings and that's what they said, but like that can change from week to week. Do you believe that Jayden Daniels and Jalen Hurts, at least right now, are top 10, and then we'll go from there?
Time will tell with Jayden Daniels. I think it's very tough to go, he's played in 8 or 9 games. He's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL forever now.
I get that.
He's had a great start. He's probably, unless I'm forgetting somebody, obviously Bo Nix is having a good year record-wise, but he's probably the leader for Rookie of the Year.
He is by far.
Yeah. So he's having a great year. Jalen Hurts, to me, he's good but not great. I do put him in the same tier as Dak. Now, Dak's injury history now is piling up tremendous. I don't know if Dak's ever going to come back and be good or great again because of this one now, too, along with his ankle that's probably deteriorating through, that surgery / age.
Ankle and same hamstring, same leg.
That's scary.
So I do look at it and go, yeah, that's the scary part is if they do reach their potential. If Jayden Daniels reaches his potential, he's like a maybe consistent MVP candidate. Along with who you're about to play. Like, if you think of future MVPs, you think of, the Texans quarterback, possibly the Washington quarterback. We'll see what new draft classes have, but he looks like one of those premium young franchise quarterbacks that is working out in a hurry. For Hurts, I like him. I don't love him. I think he's beatable, but he obviously has a lot of talent around him. The Eagles do a lot to change their team around quickly.
Yeah, they do.
If they don't like something, they don't just go, well, let's just stick with it and see if it works next year.
The thing that scares me about Hurts, because I don't disagree with you at all, Hurts is his own worst enemy. Like, he'll make these plays that you're like, come on, dude. Like, kind of like Jordan Love. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But that interception from Trayvon Diggs, that was Jalen Hurts' first interception since September 22nd. Like, that's wild to me. And take a look at what's happened in that span. The Eagles are 5-1. Hurts has 18 touchdowns to 1 interception. Now, it is 18 touchdowns split up in Jalen Hurts fashion, so 9 passing, 9 rushing. But still, 18 touchdowns versus the 1 interception. If Jalen Hurts ever figures out how to be even mediocre turnover-wise, that's a scary thought because he has been a turnover machine in a bad way for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and his ability to escape still, and then also how well they do the brotherly shove.
Yes.
Like that's those two things. That's a thing that they can do for quite some time, and he's still young. He's still young in the NFL for Hurts. When it comes to Daniels, his escapability, he just extends plays, but he doesn't have to either because he's got the arm to make plays downfield.
Yeah.
And he can run. He runs smarter than I think most quarterbacks do. He runs more, in my mind, like Aaron Rodgers did.
See, he definitely can run. I like the way you put that.
Aaron Rodgers was one of those guys where you were like, oh, the play, you better be terrified because it's about to go downfield, and then the next thing you know, he's picking up 12 yards because you weren't paying attention.
I think this is a scary thing for the Cowboys and the fans of the Cowboys is you look at those two quarterbacks and you go, oh, no. That might not be an advantage that the Cowboys, you can argue, but have probably had an advantage for approximately a decade in the division with Romo when he was healthy and with Dak, is that's not an advantage anymore. It looks like you're going to be looking at your divisional games and going, all right, as of today, you're way better than the Giants. You better hope that the Giants, most likely with a top 3 to 5 pick, if they get Shedeur Sanders or Cameron Ward from Miami, you better hope that they're not the next Jayden Daniels or something like that, because then all of a sudden you're going to be going, we have an older quarterback on a highly guaranteed contract, and we might have the 4th quarterback in this division.
Looking at some of the comps, I'm really hoping that the Giants go ahead and draft Carson Beck, and that would just make life easier for the Cowboys. A couple of things. Jalen Hurts is 8th in QBR.
It'd be the same quarterback, right? Except for he doesn't run as well.
Exactly. I've seen some people say Daniel Jones is the ceiling, and I'm like, what? Why in the world would you draft that person in the first round?
For real.
So for Jalen Hurts this season, he's 8th in QBR and right now 4th in MVP betting odds.
Okay.
And then let's look at Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels, 4th in QBR and then 6th in MVP betting odds. So a couple of things. First of all, and I also want to know if you guys are going to be invested in the game tonight since they're going to be facing off. But then there's this. I know this has been a down season for Dak even before he got hurt. But Dak Prescott has thrown more interceptions this season than Hurts and Daniels combined.
Okay. It means he's playing better opponents.
Here's
It's the same opponents, Kevin.
Yeah.
Here's a thing that I've noticed. And I could be way off. I know velocity matters in baseball. We see it every pitch. I think Dak, before the injury, was throwing the ball slower. The ball was not coming out as hard and as far and as fast. And I know that is not the main thing about being a quarterback.
It's so important, though.
Since he's lost, I think that ankle wearing a boot in the offseason wasn't just for fun. I mean, if Jacob deGrom is wearing a brace on his elbow right now, it's probably not for fun if we were to see a picture of it. It's probably because there's a major concern with his elbow in the offseason, which there isn't. I'm just saying that something was bugging him tremendously in the offseason, that he had to boot up his foot again.
Mike, you're what you're saying I noticed too. And it's scary because when you're a pitcher and you throw that pitch and it would always get past the bat, you're like, okay, I'm good. And now that it doesn't, it gets hit. And with quarterbacks, the same way. I got a tight window that I know I've always thrown into. Yeah. And now the ball's not coming out of my hand the same, and it looks a little bit different, and it's easier for them to get.
I know people think I'm a Cowboys hater, and in a way, I can be. But I'm telling you, Dak this year, before the injury, to me, looked closer to 40 years old than 30 years old. And I'm not saying his career was ending, but it looked like this isn't the same zip. And I get his offensive line isn't as good. He doesn't have any running backs. I get that's all true. I'm not saying that is true.
He can still spin.
But throwing the ball like firm and like zipping the ball somewhere, it is like this ball isn't zipping as much as it used to anymore. And I don't know, was that because of the ankle? I don't because you throw from the ground up. And so it's like, I don't know. It'll be interesting next year when he comes back. Do you see velocity on the ball? When you need to throw the ball a little bit harder or get the ball to the sidelines 15, 20 yards down the field, can he get that ball there on time? Or does he have to anticipate and throw it a half a second earlier because it takes a half a second longer for that ball to get there?